Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome to Centurion's review of the punk rock band of Wargame Review Institutions. This is Traveler Brilliant Lances, Traveler Starship Combat. This actually belongs to Len. He let me borrow it to do an unboxing video of it. In space combat, you never see your opponent until it's all over, if even then. With acquisition and tracking ranges measured in tens of thousands of kilometers, to human eyes, the people that are trying to kill you are not even a speck. But they can hurt you even though you can't see them. Precise laser arrays and big particle accelerators honed by centuries of engineering can reach out without warning to slit your hull like the belly of a fish, spilling life, oxygen, heat, and fuel into the hard vacuum. That's why space combat is a game of cat and mouse. Keep yourself wrapped in the mantle of space, cold, dark, silent. Keep your thrust burns to a minimum. They blaze like miniature suns for all to detect. Rig your passive sensors to greedily absorb data, but remain quiet yourself. Give nothing away. Keep your weapons ready in case there a faint trace of mid-wavelength infrared betrays a maneuver drive. Bring up the radar dishes while the big passive array builds up a targeting solution. The moment seem endless while every crew member shares the same thought. Have they seen us? Is the unseen enemy at this moment doing the same thing you are? You might never know the answer if you beat him. Maybe you'll find out. But what if you hadn't seen him first? Some questions must remain unanswered when death, unbidden, comes scorching towards you as silent, brilliant lances. And it says the game has vector-based movement and detailed hit and damage resolution and lasers and blah blah blah. This is actually a really good blurb on the back of the box. I mean, that's the kind of blurb that'll actually get someone to buy the game. Alright, let's see what's in here. It's got one of these old game science dice that I can't stand. Alright, let's look at the technical booklet first. This one shows you how to build ships, if I recall correctly. Yeah, designing spacecraft. Here it's going over designing your hull, and here's a hull size table, hull form and configuration table. Here you can choose your jump drive, the electronics and controls. You even got hull materials you can choose. Alright, here's your computers, like your flight avionics. And there's your terrain following avionics, communicators, laser communicators, meson communicators, whatever that is, and maser communicators. And here's your sensors and your radar, which I assume is something similar to radar or something. Your EMS. Here's your electronic countermeasures and your electronic countermeasures. In this case, they're using electromagnetic masking. And there's a radio, radar, and EMS jammer. So I guess radar is different than LiDAR in this. Okay. Maybe LiDAR uses a laser to detect. I don't know. All right, here's your weapons that you would choose. There's missiles. Nuclear dampeners, interesting. And here's step 5 optional features. Alright, power supply. Fuel tankage, how much fuel you can carry. Solar arrays. There's your maneuver drive, and here's your life support. Alright, step 9, your workstation and bridge. And then here's how to evaluate your design. Here's additional equipment such as drones, laser gun packs. And here's some, looks like some pre-built starships or something here. Yeah, these are trading vessels. That one's a scout. That's a lab ship. There's a patrol cruiser. Defense boat, another merchant. A liner, survey ship. Here's a mercenary cruiser, and that one's an Asian trader. Transport, another trader. Corsair, close escort. Corvette, destroyer escort. a cruiser, another destroyer, and there's a scout and a leader scout, followed by a destroyer escort and a strike cruiser. And here's the skiffs and stuff, like little ship's lifeboats and stuff. Modular cutter and shuttle. Interesting. And there's a fighter. That's a 48-page book here for finding the technical information on ships or building your own ship. Alright, here's a player aid here. Let's see what's on here. It's got your sequence of play, which is launch phase, piloting phase, launch phase, plotting phase, movement phase, sensor phase, fire phase, damage control phase, followed by the turn record phase. Here's meson screens, modifiers for nuclear dampeners modifiers. Arcs of fire and hit locations by hull form. Damage type chart, spacecraft damage, excess damage location, critical hit table, and proportional movement guide, and minor and non-destroying damage table. Surprised it only included one player aid in this. Alright, before we get to the rules of play, let's take a look at the counters. Looks like Len never played this because the counters are uncut. Those are pretty big counters there for the ships. Those look good. Here's some informational counters. I take that back. There was another player aid. It was on the bottom of the box for the other player. Okay, that's good. Here's your Starship combat missile and drone log, and there's a whole bunch in here. See what one of these maps look like. I think it's just an outer space map. Yeah, it's just an outer space map. No big deal. Folds out bigger than that, but here's two others. Yeah, looks like those are just outer space maps too. Didn't see any planets or anything on any of them. Let's check this one. This one's got a heading compass on it. And here, yeah, no planets or asteroids or anything on there. Here's the rules of play. This one is, looks like it's 30 pages long, so it's a substantial rule book. Alright, it's going over components, general course of play, task resolution, and difficulty levels and asset modifiers. Even got a difficulty level of impossible. Interesting. And your crew quality and task resolution roll table is down here. There's your sequence of play again. We already went over that. And now it's going into plotting and movement in more detail. And it looks like in this game, facing matters. So it's got heading displays and so on and so forth. Notice down there it's talking about fuel use, so you got to keep track of your fuel in this. Here it's going over how to use the spacecraft control manual and movement logs. And here's your difficulty modifiers by target size. Alright, using the missile and drone log sheet. Here's your going over sensor locks here. This book needs more illustrations and stuff inside. You got too many pages that are just text and really nothing else. Here's your procedure for resolving sensor lock attempts. Radio jamming down there, that's under communications or communicators. Here's facing again. And facing for missiles and drones, how it affects that. Facing effects on combat, and here's fire and combat. Fire eligibility, and here's your hit procedure. Going over missiles now. And here's your defense rules. Here's your damage rules and weapon damage performance. Going over hit location. Here's your spacecraft damage table and your excess damage location table. And there's damage effects. Damage control. Okay, you got boarding actions. That's cool. Going over, looks like you can have surprise. And there's gravity rules too. Well, it's got an actual formula here. Square root of gm plus g over 3 times 10 to the 7th equals range in hexes, where g equals 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11, and m equals the body's mass in kilograms, and g, that's the same as gravity on Earth, 9.8 times g. Well, the 9.8 is the same as Earth. Okay. All right, now it's going over stars and planets. Well, there's no planets on the board, so. All right, here's tournament rules. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get a tournament going for this. I mean, you got a 30-page rule book. You got a 54-page book for creating your spaceship and so on and so forth. I don't know if you're going to be able to find enough people willing to put an investment in order to learn the game so they can play in a tournament. All right, here's scenario 1, deep black. Scenario 2, rear guard. Scenario 3, Lackland Sun. Scenario 4, Corsair. And scenario 5, the Black War. And scenario 6, smash and grab. Scenario 7, cold recovery, rather. And then scenario 8, vampire. Well, at least it's got a lot of scenarios. Thanks for watching, guys. This looks like a really detailed game, so if you're looking for a Starship game that's very detailed, this is probably going to be ideal for you. If you've tried this, let us know what you thought of it, and have a good evening.